unicorn. Hello, we're back. That was abrupt as fuck. Jeez Louise. And it was so abrupt, it got me all hot. And it ripped off my sweater. I was like, what the hell is happening here? Oh, funny. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen again. Get right back to Galbanum. And so let's see, where are we here? Galbanum. We talked about we used the resin and the root. We talked about the other names and that it's a hermaphrodite. So the correspondences. So I did not find a ton of these. The only deity correspondent I could find was Nephthys. The element was earth or air. Astrological sign is Libra. And again, we have this heart to crown chakra connection is what is Galbanum's shtick. The tarot is the Fool, which is interesting. I know, which is like, I know, I kind of like it actually. I had to sit with it for a while, but I'm not like against it. The Sabbat is the spring equinox, otherwise known, oh, sorry, you mean to others, or the spring. Yeah. Some might call it Ostara. Okay, so it's associated, some of its lore is that it's associated with Egypt, of course, because of the goddess association. It was in the famous Egyptian perfume Metopian. And it's used in the, hold on one second, let me mess with this, see what we're gonna put this on the desktop. Okay. So it's used in the it was used in the embalming process and used in cosmetics. So both. It's also got a mention in the Bible. It's got biblical import. It's in the holy incense that's burned in King Solomon's temple. And this is the exact quote from Exodus. Then the Lord said to Moses, take fragrant spices, gum resin, onycha, and galbanum, and pure frankincense, all in equal amounts, and make a fragrant blend of incense, the work of a perfumer. It's to be salted and pure and sacred. Grind some of it to a powder and place it in front of the Ark of the Covenant law in the tent of meeting, where I will meet you. It shall be most holy to you. Thus saith the Lord. Okay. Then it's modern perfume is very important. Okay. And I love this. This is so rad. So its scent is described as intensely grassy, intensely green, slightly bitter and earthy. I've heard it be grassy as well. So it's famously in Chanel number 19 and Miss Dior, which is so crazy. It's in another one too, but before we even go on, there's other ones too. But before we even talk about it, the first two that were listed are those two. And why that is so crazy is because they are in a, like, I just finished watching that whole show about their whole thing during the Holocaust. So at the end of World War II, Christian Dior, he was like, his sister was put in a Nazi concentration camp. His sister was almost dead when she was released. She was so sick and she was sad and sick when she was released. And I looked it up to see if this was a real story, and it is a real story. And because he didn't even know how to relate to her very well, and he created Miss Dior, like this perfume, to honor his sister after she was released from a freaking Nazi Holocaust concentration camp. So Miss Dior and Christian Dior, I don't know if this is real, or in the show he's portrayed as gay. So geez, so much to lose during World War II, and just like produced beautiful clothes. And then you compare it with Coco Chanel. And allegedly, I will say, according, and I looked it up though, but allegedly, like this bitch conspired with the Nazis, you know, and allegedly she is a rich anti-Semite. She was like a gnarly anti-Semite. So it didn't like matter, like she, even though she had like business dealings with Jews, she like her private and personal beliefs about Jews were horrendous. Apparently, like there's famous horrible things she said about Jews. So that like totally go with back up the reason why she would be a conspirator. She was almost, I don't even know if she was really prosecuted, but it became very close that France prosecuted Coco Chanel for conspiring with the Nazis. So she was definitely investigated. Anyway, so interesting that those two timetables like kind of coalesced in this galbanum smell. It's like the smell, galbanum is like the smell of like that as well. Interesting. But it's like two very interesting. It's also in this other one called Viper Green Ex Nihilo. It's in like this deep waters. It's in there's one like Tom Ford that it's really famous that I don't know what it is, but it's in one Tom Ford. So galbanum is a very very famous perfume ingredient still to this day. And then it's also famous because it's important in Greece. So legend has it that Prometheus, so galbanum grows like those, did you see the long stalks where like the little things came out of, the heads came out of? So the stalks are the almost kind of have bamboo-y texture, like they're kind of like reedy. And so they like it's was some of the lore is and because they like also are resinous and reedy, they burn. And so Prometheus, these were the torches that Prometheus used to give humanity fire. Even though I don't even know what that image is. That's the hankiest pankiest thing ever. And I tell you, I saw that's AI for you. I saw the funniest thing about like AI's rendition of Jesus flipping over tables in a temple, and there's tables in like a Jewish temple, and he's doing backflips over
flipping over tables.
I loved it.
Oh,
Like,
that's
that's
funny.
great. That's the best. I love that. So then the magical properties of galbanum. We go. So it's considered a sacred mother resin. So it's connected to the mother and it's connected to elemental magic. And it's mostly because of Aleister Crowley. So Aleister Crowley records like a quote, dangerous elemental incense. I love dangerous. It's dangerous to men. That's what I think. I said, men, use at your own risk. All of this that we're saying, I think men, you better be careful. Dangerous. The witches are doing dangerous things. Be careful, the witches are danger. They're using plants and resin. Senses that are dangerous. So this is a dangerous elemental incense that uses galbanum, onycha, which it's from the Bible as well. We heard that mentioned. Storax and olabanum, which is that's frankincense. I think olabanum.
I think so. Yeah.
So. I'm pretty
sure. I can never remember if it's frankincense or myrrh
Myrrh. I think it is frankincense. We'll see. Well, you know what? We have this in our hands. Well, let's just find out before, so I don't have to like put it in there. I've been looking it out enough. So let's see. Olibanum. Another term for frankincense. There you go. Okay. Also transformation. So it's used for soul transformation, just like we talked about the crown chakra. It's kind of like a theme about transformation of the soul. You can change every goal, like like when you use galbanum for this transformative power, it will like shift every goal you have. It's like that huge. It's good for new beginnings, which again, the Fool card, so good. It all gets tidy. Magical properties some more. So it's good for an offering or a sacrifice. It's considered a positive sacrifice, and you can use it like also in situations where you're giving up to get something better. This can be used as a giving up piece for that. It's also used in self-exploration. It's deeply psychological, but it can also reveal some shocking truths to you. So if you're not ready, you better hang on. It's used in meditation, and it increases your vibration. It also increases your vibration, and it increases like any potion or incense or oil you add it to. It will increase the vibration of that magical remedy as well. It's also used in purification, and because it clears blocks. So magical properties continue. So if you want to acquire magic, you can use it. You can use it to connect with the dead, which again, I love that. And like used in many of the incenses or resins that were used in embalming are used that gives them the magical property of being a connection with the dead. So good for shamanic journeys to the underworld, protection. It's supposed to banish negativity in an exorcism. And then we get to the medical properties, and there's really not that many. Like when you get to these kind of resins, they're kind of weird. They didn't even abortifacient though. Abortifacient. I love it. Put that in the records. But women, if you would like to keep your babies, you probably shouldn't be ingesting any of this, or I would be wary. I would be very wary. Although I haven't tried it personally for that property. Externally, it can be used for wounds, and it's supposed to reduce scar tissue. It's also a restorative tonic. It's good for upset stomach, diarrhea, cough, seizure disorders, and obviously it's used in perfume and cosmetics. And no herb would be complete ever in the history of herbs if it didn't reduce inflammation, because York. Again, avoid if pregnant or nursing. So here are my sources right here. Nice. For that, and Galbanum right there. Okay. So let me stop shutting, and then we can move to you.
Okay. So let me make sure that I'm like at the top. Okay. So lavender.
Ooh.
That's a good botanical illustration.
I can't believe we have, and I looked at our little list of herbs that we had not done yet, and we have not done lavender.
I know, it wasn't in that massive like document that I'm keeping.
Because we haven't. It wasn't in the list of mine. Yeah. I try to keep I've gone through and crossed off the ones that we've done. Like if there were ones, I mean, there's going to be a lot when we go through the kitchen ones, because there's just an ass ton. And I'm sure there's.
We also need to make a new list, I think, of herbs that we have done to keep track, because I keep having to go back and see, like, did we talk about this yet? I thought we mentioned this and things like that. But okay. So, missed that. So it's the genus Lavandula. The parts used typically are the flowers, dried flowers.
Wait, you know what? Okay. Oh yeah, good. Okay, good. I'm glad. Sorry, I thought we didn't hit record, but we did.
Okay. I missed the folk names. I don't remember. Oh, no. I thought that I did that, but that's okay. We could circle back to it.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so in France, Spain, and Italy. So this is all lore. I was thinking about putting it in the magic part, but I want to keep it in lore, I think.
Okay.
So France, Spain, and Italy love spells have been recorded mixing lavender, rose hips, and or rose petals, and violet petals. It's also believed that girls would hide lavender sachets under their pillow or under the pillows of loved ones to keep loving thoughts in their mind. So like you can put it under a satchel under like your partner's pillow, and like it means that like they'll have loving thoughts towards you. And then in the Dark Ages, lavender was associated with protection to ward off the evil eye. And then it kind of carried over. Now, I want to make a quick note. The evil eye amulets are typically called like Nazar or Bonkuk. And it drives me absolutely mad when people will have like the bracelets or the, you know, the charms or something, and they call this the evil eye.
Yeah.
It's like, that is not the evil eye. That is what protects you from the evil eye.
Exactly.
It's like calling it the evil eye is almost like a slap in the face to it, because it's protecting you from that.
Exactly.
Absolutely crazy.
Exactly. So crazy. You're not giving the evil eye. You're being.
I know. You're like using the evil eye to protect you from the evil eye. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways. Okay. So in Christian folklore, it's believed that a cross of lavender was hung on the door to safeguard against evil. So like Christian people would put this above their door. In Ireland, lavender was used with some other herbs to make like cakes. So they would make these sweet cakes, and these sweet cakes were made with the intent of giving it to the fae. And then they would give it to the fae, and then when you present it to the fae, if they accept it, it means that they will give you a favor. They'll like offer you like a favor. If you want to get into that with the fae, then that is your that's your ability. I don't really work with fae, but I don't want to ask favors from things not of this world.
Exactly. You know what it seems like? It seems like FAFO. Yes, like maybe, or like that, like when like the genie in the bottle problem. Like
yeah. Oh man, yeah, definitely. So it can also be used, or we can see it in Irish folklore, where if it's mixed with rosemary, it's supposed to uphold a virtuous person or cause. So like if you have a good cause, like if somebody is sick or something and you want them to get sick because you care for them, and that's like a worthy cause, then it's said that you can mix rosemary and lavender, and that is supposed to like help them. In Indian folklore, like from India, we see that lavender flowers can be put or can be used in like the subtle energy system. So things like crown chakra, obviously because it's purple and the associations with like, well, we'll talk about that later, but also like interconnectedness and like community sensations. In the Middle East, lavender and sandalwood were used during childbirth to ease the pain. So you would burn like lavender and sandalwood to help with childbirth pain. It's believed that you can sprinkle lavender oil on tassels to confuse evil spirits. So you put the lavender oil on tassels and then hang the tassels, and it's supposed to like confuse the evil spirits. And then people also used to powder lavender, dry it and powder it, and then make candles out of them. And that was supposed to be burned for protection. In Spain and Portugal, lavender was included in bonfires in St. John's Day. And so we've talked a couple times, I think, about people wearing like garlands or like different flowers and stuff and then burning it. And so this is along that line.
Midsummer, is that the day you're referring to?
Is that when St. John's Day is?
That's midsummer. That's that's why St. John's wort. That's all that St. John's gobbledygook bullshit nonsense. They took over midsummer. That's midsummer.
Oh, interesting.
So in Spain and Portugal, let's reword it. Lavender was included in bonfires on midsummer. Now it all makes more sense, right?
Do they call it? So I've never heard like, I mean, some, you know, non-pagans don't call it midsummer typically, but they'll call it like first day of summer or whatever. Do they call it that still in like Spain and Portugal, or is that like an outdated term? St. John's Day.
Oh, St. John's Day. Oh no, that's a Christian thing. So again, so it's like Christian thing. St. John is like, I think it's St. John the Baptist. There's different St. Johns, but St. John the Baptist, I think, is St. John's Day. Is like, or it could be St. John. They could be referring to like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, like the fifth one of them. Anyway.
All right, and then on St. Luke's Day, I don't know when that is, but in the 1400s.
See, there we go, another one of those nitwits.
Yeah, who knows? It said that young women would sip lavender like water, or like lavender infusions, or just some drink that was made with lavender. And it's believed that once they went to bed, then after drinking this, they would dream about like their true love. It's believed that lavender under a man's pillow will give him courage to ask for a lady's hand in marriage. This could probably work to propose to other men as well. Lavender was used by wives to ensure their husband's marital passion. So making sure that they would still have sex, essentially. And then sex workers would wear lavender to attract customers in like Greece. And it would also protect them. So it would attract customers, but then it was also said to protect them from like violence from like their customers. And
you want to hear something interesting? It was just in Lavender just played in a cult. I just heard it referenced in it's that new ultra-violent show on Amazon Prime. That's also it's a video game. Hold on. It's a new, let's see, it starts with an F, new video game show on Amazon Prime. Anyway, the lady, it's like kind of set mid-century modern. And she's eating like lavender candy or lavender gum. And what is it? It's Fallout. Called Fallout. Oh. And she's eating lavender gum or lavender something or lavender tea, and she goes, "Would you like some?" And he's like, "If you want to eat flowers." And then he took a sip and he's like, it was like horrible to him. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like a flavor. Some people love.
I do not like the flavor. I am not big on like the flavor of flower. I don't like floral flavors. I mean, I love calendula. And chamomile's okay, chamomile, but I don't like lavender. I don't know.
Remember we did those lemon lavender cookies?
Oh, those were good. Something about the lemon made those really good.
Yeah, the lemon lavender one we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like flower tasting usually. The lemon's good though.
Okay.
Okay, so you can make lavender oil and then combine that with rosemary, cinnamon, nutmeg, and red sandalwood. And then you're supposed to let that soak in wine for 7 days and then strain it, obviously. And that would give you a tincture that was called red lavender and also called palsy drops. And it was supposed to be good for like a whole host of things, from like headaches to body aches. To dry eyes, which is like where the term palsy partially comes from, and I would not at all recommend that, but that's how they used it. That sounds terrible.
He did it. Exactly. Other people did this, but
yes, back in the day.
Back in the day, this was something.
So in Egypt, lavender was used for mummification, which is a tie into your Galbanum. It was mostly used for odor to like help stave off the odor. And then it's believed that it's spread to Greece around 600 BCE. And then it was heavily used by the Greeks and Romans in bathhouses to like scent the bath water. And then let's see, washerwomen were known as lavenders because they would spread their clothes like on like lavender bushes, because if you've never seen a lavender bush, they're big, they're like big, like bushy things usually, and so they would just kind of drape the clothes over the lavender bushes to dry, and so women were known as lavenders. And then monasteries began cultivating lavender in their psychic gardens. Now I had to look this up. Or physic gardens, and physic gardens was like a whole type of garden that was an herb garden, but it was medicinal herbs. So the whole herb garden was just medicinal herbs, and so monasteries started bringing lavender into their those gardens.
So you can see, okay, so at oh my gosh, okay, so also I have it's a disorder. I can't connect things together like words like this, but it's there's a line of big famous churches that go up the coast of California, and we visit them. Oh, I got it. It's missions. Okay, yeah. So missions. So in missions, you can go visit missions, and also there's like a famous they will have missions will have physic gardens sometimes where they like, and you can there's beautiful gardens at some of these like monastery, like what they're basically like missions or whatever.
Yeah, awesome. And then you can make lavender water, even though it's called lavender water. It's not made with water, it's made with gin or brandy. And this was supposed to be a cure for migraine. Probably not the next day, but at the time in which you're taking it. It's also believed that Cleopatra wore lavender to help seduce Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. There's been like hints that lavender got its scent from the clothing of Jesus. So when Jesus's mother, which is interesting that I kept this exactly the way that it was worded because they didn't call her by name, which I thought was interesting. But when Mary hugs Jesus when he's on the cross, it's believed that their like scents combined essentially created like this smell of lavender. And so because of that, a lot of Christians made crosses with lavender stalks, like dried lavender stalks.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So it is a natural insect repellent. And so it was used as like a plague antidote. A lot of people would wear like lavender, it's not really branches, but like stems, I guess, and flowers around their wrists. And the insect, it's believed that it would help repel fleas specifically. So we also have it in the 4 thieves vinegar. So after robbing graves, it was believed that thieves would wash up in this thing called 4 thieves vinegar to help protect themselves from contagion of the dead bodies. And this is also tied into with the Black Plague, because when people were bringing out the bodies after the Black Plague, or people who lived in the houses of somebody who had the Black Plague, then they would douse themselves in 4 thieves vinegar. So the recipe for the 4 thieves vinegar was what's believed to be the original recipe, was hung in the museum in Paris in 1937, and they still have the original copy. Again, who knows if this is the original copy, but there is an original copying at least. So this is what it says. It says, take 3 pints of strong white wine vinegar, add a handful of each wormwood, meadowsweet, wild marjoram, and sage, 50 cloves. I added this, they are talking about garlic, 2 ounces of campanula roots, which are known as bellflowers, 2 ounces of angelica, rosemary, and horehound, and 3 large measures of camphor. I don't know what a measure would be, but 3 large measures of camphor. Place in a container for 15 days, strain and express, then bottle. Used by rubbing it on the hands, ears, temples from time to time when approaching a plague victim. We got 10 minutes. Okay. So that is the 4 thieves vinegar. Now, European royalty would use lavender in like perfumes and also in foods. And it's been associated with royalty also because it's purple, and purple has long been known as a color of royalty. It's also been associated with love. In the Tudor times, maidens would sip on lavender tea, which, you know, is an infusion, and say, quote, Saint Luke, be kind to me. In my dreams, let me my true love see. Okay, so not very many medicinal qualities. It's an aromatic, obviously, carminative, and a nervine. Those are pretty much the only things that I found on it medicinally. Most people do not use it medicinally. Most people use it for either the taste or the smell. So it's believed that you could wear a sprig of lavender or like lavender essence or lavender oil on you to attract love. You can include it in love spells to attract a partner, or, as you know, I am a big fan of self-love spells. Use it. I think that it would be, or I think it combines really beautifully with rose, especially in a self-love spell, especially pink rose. Yeah, really nice. Use it for aromatherapy to help induce like peaceful sleep, relaxation. You can make a sachet and put it in your pillow, under your pillow. I do have a lavender satchel with some little crystals, and I put it in my pillowcase. You can also use it. Oh, that was supposed to be teas / infusions. You can put it in a bath. All of the things that we've talked about before, we have previously talked a lot about how to use these in baths. And so you can sprinkle it in your bath. If you don't mind cleaning up the herbs, you can put it in. My local herb shop has like big, tea bags, reusable tea bags that are like this big. And so those are perfect for like making a little herbal like mixture for the bath. You can let it sit in water, boil it, let it cool, dump it over.
I've got a good one for the bath. If you have like old nylons, like or like knee-high nylons that are like run somewhere, you just snip off the end and they make an amazing like
perfect.
Yeah. Like little.
I don't even think I own any nylons. But that is a good one.
Exactly.
You can always also like burn it if you wanted to. You can assist it in, it's supposed to help assist the evolution of spirit. I also made like I got really into air dry clay for a while, and I made like this little bowl. It's like fits in the palm of my hand, but it's like this bowl, and I had crushed lavender and mixed it in the clay, and it's now like a little tiny bowl that I keep next to the side of my bed that has like lavender in it as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really
what kind of clay did you use? It was air
just
dry?
Air dry. Yeah, just air dry. I'll show you. Hold on. I love air dry clay because you don't have to do anything to it, you know. You see it?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So now does it come in that color or yes.
So I painted it. I wanted it so there is like crushed lavender in the clay, but then I also painted it.
Okay, and then is that that's in it as well. Okay.
Yeah, and that's my lavender. So I keep this next to my bed.
Ooh, that's such a good idea. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. And air dry clay is so easy. I mean, you know, it's clay. You have to get it wet a little bit and stuff, but it dries like pretty quickly. So I let it set for like 24 hours before I do anything else with it. So I shape it, let it sit for a day. Then I sand it and then put my paint it. Once I paint it, I let it sit for a day, and then I put my clear coat or like my epoxy or whatever on it. But it's really easy. I mean, I have no artistic talent at all, and air dry clay is pretty easy. I also made this little
I love that
I keep on my altar with like my matches and stuff too. Anyways, so that's lavender. Also, I think I have another slide. Yeah, so magical correspondences. It's believed that the planet is Mercury. I don't know how I really feel about that, but okay. I kind of like it for Neptune, honestly. Neptune and like maybe Venus, I guess.
Yeah.
Element is air. Some people have said other elements. I stand strong that lavender is an air associated with air. Sign is Virgo, and then the card is Hermit, which I also don't know if I agree with. I like the Hermit card association in that, okay, so first, lavender highly associated with sleep and relaxation. And so I think that sleep is very much a crown chakra thing. It's connecting us to other worlds. And then I also associate like deep relaxation with meditation, which is also associated with the crown. And so I can see the lavender hermit connection in that, like, when we're meditation, we're like, I associate, okay, let me see, how do I say this? The hermit card for me is about going inward and isolation. We are isolating ourselves so that we can go inward. Yeah. To me, the hermit is like the epitome of like shadow work. Like that is the shadow work card for me. And so I like the association with lavender and the hermit in that when we are meditating, we are going inward. So I can see that, but that's really the only association I can make with hermit and lavender.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think what.
I don't know.
I had a card originally that I was, I don't know. What's your thought about a card? Do you have a card for it?
Not really. I could kind of see like the moon maybe, but mostly for like the nighttime relaxation, like sleep associations.
Exactly, because I was like, what about like the Four Swords? A little rough, though.
Yeah.
Maybe not though.
There's probably a cups card that I could associate with it too. I feel like it could definitely have like that emotional aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so then we have Hawthorn. Ooh. Now, a couple things about Hawthorn. One, I started with Elder, and then Elder just didn't really feel right, and so I switched to Hawthorn. Now, I want to start this by saying Hawthorn is traditionally very much a heart chakra herb, and I like Hawthorn for the heart. I have a very specific reason why I tie Hawthorn to the crown chakra, and we will talk about it at the end.
Yay, I can't wait. Interesting, the heart connection, like are both.
Yes, yeah. I know. Yeah, we both talked about, I'm gonna talk about like Jesus later on. We also had Jesus for the lavender, and you talked about that. And then the heart crown association as well. Yeah. And mummification and like embalming. Lots of associations every week with us. It's interesting. Okay, so it is the genus Crataegus, I think. And so the parts used, you can obviously use like the wood and things, but most typically we have the haws, which are used, which are the fruit, the berries, essentially. Haws, the fruit, and the berries. That's all talking about the same thing. So some folk names, we have May, Maythorn, Quickthorn, Thorn Apple, May Tree, Whitethorn, Mayflower, or Hawberry. Okay, so the Roman goddess Cardia, this is an interesting story. So she is called the goddess of the door hinge. And so she protects family. That's what she does. She protects family when the family is in like a home or a house. She keeps evil spirits and things from crossing into the threshold. Now, we have a little bit of story, and I don't really like this story, but I want to talk about it anyways. So the folklore says that Cardia and Janus were lovers, and to reward her for sleeping with him, he gave her a door hinge as like her emblem. And he said that this hinge gave her the power to prevent evil spirits from passing through the doors. Now, I don't like the idea of a woman getting her power because a man let her have this power.